And so people spread rumors, but thankfully I found out years later that there were still plenty of people that didn't believe that I cheated, which honors me dearly. But I do have to tell you one thing funny. When they were voting for most spirited 8th grade girl, my former friend, Nori, even though she was not talking to me at the time of the vote, she still ended up voting for me, only because she knew everyone else was, and so she knew I was going to win. So, go figure, huh? She couldn't get back at me for nothing. So anyways, one special memory in 8th grade, then I move on to high school. It was Celebration Station, end of the year trip. Both years in a row, the Celebration Station workers, after a while, would make it where students couldn't go on the bumper boats unless they had someone to ride with. And my parents had asked me not to go on the go-karts. And I wasn't much for miniature golf or anything like that. And even if I was mostly by myself. So I mostly rode the bumper boats and went upstairs. And so when they got like that, I was like upset and was like, come on, I don't have any friends, please. Just let me go on. And they still wouldn't let me do it. And so then I started begging some of the teachers, and they didn't even hear me. And I'd have other students telling me to shut up, and I'd yell at them back to shut up. 7th grade I had Kayla, but 8th grade she was sort of off with her other friends doing whatever she was doing. Not against her. I don't hold that against her. She had a right to, but anyway. Sometimes classmates would have pity on me, the nice ones, and they'd ride with me. But 8th grade, one special thing happened. These 4 girls from another school, or was it 3? I always forget whether it's 3, 4, or 5. But anyway, they were together, and they noticed that I was pretty much alone, and they approached me, and they rode with me, and they asked me why nobody talked to me, and I basically told them that they don't like me because they consider me different. And so they went on bumper boats with me, and they basically hung out with me for the rest of the time. We did everything together. It was like I clicked with them. Very, very special group of girls. And you want to talk about differences? These girls were all African American. I'm white. These girls all came from a poorer part of town. I come from a more middle class part of town. Of course, the poorer parts of town often thought my area of town rich, but we are not rich by any stretch of the means. But I guess it's all about perspective, ain't it? But anyway, it was like there was no racial issues or disability issues or socioeconomic issues or anything like that. We just clicked and we had fun together for the rest of the time. In fact, the most disappointing part of it all, of the whole trip, was when they wanted to take my phone number down and I wanted to take theirs, but we didn't have a piece of paper and a pen to write down phone numbers on. It was like, dadgummit! I was so upset because I wanted to stay in contact with them, and they were equally upset because they enjoyed me. Nonetheless, they had to go on the bus back to their school, and I had to go back to mine. And I was wishing on the way back that I could go to school with them, but then I thought that I'd be away from Kayla and the girls I want to see so much. So I said, Now I just wish they'd come to school with me. And I wished that for many years, but of course I realize now that they had a purpose for being at their school just as I had a purpose for being at mine. And I've come to the point where even though I wish I could have stayed in contact, I just cherish the fact that the season even happened in the first place. So anyway, we move on to high school. I never got called fishy when I was a freshman because of the people I knew. Well, and it helped that I looked older. A lot of people thought I was a sophomore or junior when I was actually a freshman. So anyways, things got a little better, and some people who'd been mean to me in the prior years started being nice, and some people who went along with peer pressure too easily all of a sudden started standing up for what was right and defending me. And I got on I was asked on the varsity volleyball bench, and Coach Morrison, the head coach for the varsity girls basketball team, asked me to come on the bench as a manager slash cheer girl. And so I was pretty well known by not only freshmen, but sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And not too many freshmen have seniors greeting them and wanting to talk to them in the hallway, but I did. So it was like I knew I'd be okay. Of course, even then, for most of the year, I still sat at lunch by myself. I ended up sitting at lunch by myself most of the time, so I just had to take a book. So I just stopped feeling sorry for myself and started taking a book to read or homework to work on while I was at lunch. I mean, I'm sure there were some nice people that would have let me sit with them, but I didn't want to be a burden to them. And Nori had made it clear she thought of me as a burden, and, well, I didn't want to be seen as a burden to anybody else. And most people I've come to realize are not like her, but I just couldn't be sure. So I would just sit by myself, and but things started turning around where instead of people talking about how stupid I was, people were talking about how sweet I was, and how I was funny and everything else. I even remember one cheerleader commented, "Her teeth are so straight." And then, of course, there was biology, and we played this game called Jeopardy where we divided off into teams. I'm going to continue this on the next video.